starter really does overlook the Braves bullpen. I don't think they're going to do both. Alex Anthopoulos, the Braves general manager, expressed interest in Craig Kimbrell and Dallas Keuchel, both free agents. They talked about that with Jim Bowden. And look, the Braves playoffs, according to the Fangraphs Baseball Prospectus model, the Braves playoff odds go from 48 to 57%. But all three projections believe the Braves have three pitchers who are better than average as a starter in the East, and that sounds about right, with Soroka, Fried, Julio Teheran. But Fulton-Newich is getting better. All right, Gausman, whatever you want about Gausman. But I got to tell you, they think they could finish out the season with five starters, but they need that bullpen. Same thing with the Cubbies. They could use the bullpen up as well. They signed Cargo, who'll report to AAA for a few at-bats. But here's what upsets me about Cargo. Does anybody in the chat room did anybody draft Ian Happ? You'd almost have to do that in an NL-only league, so I wouldn't expect anybody in any other type of league to have him. But the signing of Cargo, which is a low-risk move, that tells me that they're not satisfied with Ian Happ's progress in Iowa. However, Ian Happ went 1 for 4 with a solo home run Thursday. He's in AAA Iowa. Michael at your kitchen table could be here. Meckert, find out how they're doing in Iowa, okay? Love to know. Good morning to Chris Gallo. So Happ has been hot on the plate. Boy, I need him. I could make a run. I am closing in, by the way, on the Sirius XM Host League. I am now second. In Labor, I am now fifth and moving up. I was in last. And in Tout Wars, I'm still in last. But now I'm coming on, okay? And I'm getting my players back. When Lamb comes back, it's going to be Lamb eating Ivy. Happ has been hot, 8 for 18. I would suggest that if you have a place to stash Ian Happ, I think he's going to be good. I'm not giving up on him. For the season, he's hitting .243 with 8 homers, 30 RBIs. He's played in 52 games in Iowa. He's striking out at about 26% in the minors. But I will tell you, his power and ability to play multiple positions will cause the Cubs to bring him up, put him in, and I think Happ can be a very respectable player for you. So, absolutely. Pedro Strop had another clean rehab appearance. Clean inning Thursdays, now tossed 2 innings, has allowed a hit, strikeout across 2 rehab starts. So he needed 13 pitches to get through 2 innings. He's doing pretty good. So Strop is coming back. Mets and the Dodgers, how about this? Hyun-Jin Ryu, first pitcher with 11 consecutive starts to begin the season, allowing 2 runs or less, okay? Now, first pitcher since who? That's what I meant. Who was the last pitcher to start the season with 11 consecutive starts, allowing 2 runs or less? And I'm not talking about an opener. I'm talking about a real pitcher, okay? And it happened, fairly recently, in the last 10 years, okay? Who is that pitcher? Who's the pitcher? Yeah, Zobrist. Yeah, absolutely, Zobrist. Good point, all right? That a boy, Lenny. What about Almora? Almora's boy, oh boy, that's horrible. This is crazy. The Mets are 4-4 when they score 8 runs in a game this season. You can't. The Mets always come up with the best shit ever, man, don't they? Who was the pitcher? The last pitcher to start 11 consecutive starts on the season and begin the season with 2 runs or less in all 11 starts. There you go. Jeremy Gibbs, who was actually, I will tell you, he has answered so many of these questions right that we actually banned him from the chat room. That's why he hasn't been here. Yep, it is Ubaldo Jimenez. Where you go, Jeremy. You can move your seat back to the front row now. That's good. The Dodgers had 1 swing and miss on Jason Vargas' 26 pitches in the first inning. 1! And the quality start was the first one of the year for Vargas, who has now Hasn't pitched bad. He's held opponents to 2 runs in 12 innings since he came back from the DL, had that hamstring injury, and he's going to get a softie on Wednesday. He's going to face the Dodgers. His longest previous outing this season was 5 1/3 against the Reds at the end of April, and in 2 starts he's done well. So, all right, let's see what happens there. But, of course, you'd have to say, and Sunday, Andy and I are going to go, we're going to do our all-star team of surprise players. And even though I talk about Dietrich and we talk about Pence and we talk about Danny LaStella, let's throw in Hyun-Shin Ryu, who has been the biggest surprise this year in fantasy baseball. And this is a tough one. Has it been LaStella, Pence? Has it been Dietrich? Or has it been Hyun-Shin Ryu? You can only pick one. Hyun-Shin Ryu, Dietrich, Pence, or LaStella. Who's been the biggest surprise? I'll throw that out to the chat room. Let's see what we come up with, okay? So he saw his consecutive scoreless inning streak ended 32 in his last start. Dominant again, 7 2/3. He's now won 5 straight starts, giving up 2 runs in 37 2/3 innings. On pinpoint control, 70 of 106 pitches for strikes. He's walked only 1 batter. He's pushed the season, 69 strikeouts and 5 walks. Leads the majors with a 1.48 ERA. Has an 0.81 whip, and he'll go against Arizona on Tuesday. So there you go. Tremendous, tremendous, tremendous by Hyun-Shin Ryu. And if you have him in your fantasy league, he's putting you in a good position, okay? Ryu, he walked Todd Frazier on the 7th pitch of an at-bat, his 5th walk of the year. For the Mets, so, all right, who's the, Garver was a mild, he was a surprise. And you know something, somebody asked a question on Twitter, would you rather have Astudillo or who's the other guy? It was either Astudillo or I forget the other catcher. And then some newcomer to the expert field said Astudillo without doing his homework. Too many people on Twitter, you ask these questions and they just give you an answer. Anybody who answered that without knowing that Garver was on his way back is just not doing the homework, just going through the motions. These newcomer experts think that they're hot stuff, and they just give answers without even digging. Anybody who doesn't dig, we all don't know everything, that's for sure. But some people fake it and claim they do. You don't give an answer and say it was over Austin Hedges, Astudillo, and I like Astudillo, but when you know Garver is coming back and he just caught full game or he's on his way back in a couple of days, you don't say Astudillo over Austin Hedges, a guy who's playing. Forgive me, but that's bulldinky and poppycock number 2. Jeff McNeil and Dominic Smith were in the same lineup against right-handers, and this could be intriguing. The question is, when Conforto, could they make this happen? McNeil on the injured list, rehabbing from a strained hammy, so team officials don't have an immediate decision, but down the road, you got McNeil taking balls in center field, Smith playing left, McNeil's an infielder, shifted to left field. You got Frazier and J.D. Davis playing well at third. He can play second, but Robinson Cano is there. Look, the Mets, they have Smith, McNeil, Conforto, 3 productive lefty bats in the outfield at the expense of defense. Smith struck out pinch hitting for Davis, but stayed in to play left field. We'll see what happens there. And could the Mets use, look, the Mets, they made that investment. They traded a tremendous prospect away to get Cano, and they got the closer, Edwin Diaz, who surrendered 4 runs in the 9th inning. Jarris Familiar is lackluster at best. So could the Mets be in the running for Craig Kimbrell? Well, they should be. If they made a commitment to win this year, they should be. And is Jed Lowry ever going to play? The typical. All right, a lot of different answers. Tommy LaStella has been a pleasant surprise. Okay. James McCann is a mild surprise, hitting .350. There you go. Hyun-Shin Ryu is winning leagues right now. Lou is correct about that. Dietrich is a pleasant surprise. But as J.R. Matt says, a lot of guys show decent power suddenly, and they have big years. Pence was dropped in 2 dynasty leagues by Jeremy Gibbs. I'll tell you, this is a tough one. And as Kieranich says, the biggest surprise of all. We all talk about the positives, but is Jose Ramirez and his inability. Is he the biggest surprise? Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So, J-Ram, I'm writing this down because Sunday we got a poll coming up, and we got 5 people to talk about. We can only have 4. So there you go. Kenley Jansen was called on to protect the 1-1 lead. He had runners on base, 2 outs in the 8th. Struck out Dominic Smith to end the threat, and then the Dodgers got an insurance run. So Jansen after a string of April appearances that Jansen made, he gave up an earned run in 5 of the 7 appearances. He's now held the opponents in 9 of his last 10. So he is coming on. Marlins and the Giants. Anybody really want to talk about this game? They were ahead on the scoreboard. That's for sure. The Giants finally came up with a couple of big hits. Brandon Crawford, tie-breaking 2-run double. Tyler Beede, recalled before the game, allowed 1 run in 6 innings. He's got an ERA of 7.8 in 4 appearances. The Giants won with 6 hits. Crawford double, scored on a Mike Yastrzemski single. First career RBI for the Yaz. Reyes Moranta, scoreless 7th. Will Smith got the save. Sandy Alcantara. All right, let's talk about Sandy. Pitched 6 innings, singled home the Marlins' lone run. He departed with a 1-0 lead, 2 hits, 5 walks, and a hit batsman. He walked at least 1 batter in 3 of his 6 innings and surrendered multiple free passes in 2 games, but he worked around them, okay? Worked around the 5 walks, I meant, and a hit batsman. The Giants lineup in the pitcher-friendly park, Alcantara is 41-31, strikeouts and walks, 64 innings. That's not good. Mediocre 4 ERA, 1.4 whip. So he's got Milwaukee coming up on Wednesday. Stay away from him. Neil Walker pulled up, running a ground ball hit, left the game. He's day-to-day. They're going to check him out. We'll see. And with all the criticism about the Marlins, you can't get away. They traded Christian Yelich, but there was one player that I'm really watching, and everybody should. Of course, you got Monty Harrison, Lewis Brinson again, but Isan Diaz is somebody to really consider, okay? And Jordan Yamamoto as well. But Diaz, left-handed hitter, heavy favorite to be the Marlins' second baseman next year with Starlin Castro's contract expiring. It's also possible that the Marlins could move Castro and Diaz could emerge this year. He did bat .232 in Double-A and Triple-A this year, but he entered Thursday hitting .272 at New Orleans. That's a hitter-friendly league, so let's pay attention. 10 homers, 30 RBIs. Watch this kid. He could be up as the Marlins will be sure to try to trade who was disgruntled but has kept his mouth shut, and that is Starlin Castro. And don't forget, according to a fella South Florida-based reporter, let's see if I can pronounce his name right. Mish, that's right, not Mish, Mish. Greg Mish in the Miami Herald. He reported that the Marlins are getting a lot of calls on Jose Urena, earning $3.2 million and is arbitration eligible the next 2 years. And if Miami trades him, anybody hear about Zach Gallen? 7-1 with a 1.70 ERA in AAA. I'll tell you what, they could either promote him or they could insert Eliezer Hernandez. But Hernandez was promoted on Monday, 3-1 with a 1.07 ERA and 8 starts. They're building this Miami team through the art of pitching, and let's hope it works. Okay, we need they had 15,000 people between the 2 Florida franchises. That was the attendance. Combined, Tampa and Miami, 15,000. Good morning to White Sox, Al. Nice to have you aboard. You got Cha-Cha and Lou coming up at 10. Those are the gangsters. So, those are the best guys in town. Cha-Cha and Lou coming up. Okay, Gallon in waiting. There you go. So they're experimenting by having J.T. Riddle play some center field at AAA. He was demoted. He was batting. He's 5 for 32. He's hitting 243 in AAA. So nothing special there. Tommy Evelt